Hello friends, there's a new patch, and this means that Odin has been significantly buffed, and I think Norse in general probably buffed as well, maybe except for Frey. Anyways, this video I'll be focusing on Odin, and look at this change right here. This is the first thing I want to talk about. The food situation in your base has been changed, and Ra hates this change because berries are no longer as good as hunt. But that's besides the point. For Odin, what you need to know is there's going to be fewer berries, fewer chicken, and there's going to be more hunt available. And this means that you can make a ridiculously good build order with Odin. And after I'm done yapping here, I'll show you that build order. But basically, there's 25% more food inside of a food carcass, berries, worse gather rate, and herdables, less fattening rate. Those are the big things with Odin. And just for good measure, look at the Odin changes or the Norse changes in general. Hamesk, plus 25% to plus 50%. I think this means that Hamesk can probably get some value now. Before, I think it was rather useless, but now I can definitely see it potentially being useful. Not the biggest change, I think. We'll see. Sesrumnir, slight buff to Sesrumnir. I think Godi are still trash units, even though they got buffed as well. So once again, this is not the big change either. This one is huge. When you get to Mythic Age with Balder, especially if you went through Freya and Njord, dude, your Jarls and your Raiden Cavalry are going to be ridiculously strong. And the Undermine change is kind of interesting as well. Less good against town centers, equally good against fortresses, but better versus something like a temple or barracks or stables or things like that. So I think you can put some really good early pressure on your opponent if you go through Heimdall now. It's going to be interesting to play around with. Iron Harry buff is welcome. I do wish they would fix the bugs that are with the Iron Harry or special attack in particular, but it's a welcome change for sure. And this is a really good change with the Nidhogg. You don't want this to be autocast. You want to do this manually. Cursor change is really big. Bonus versus myth units, this is rather small, I think, but it's still, once again, very welcome. And the Pierce armor increase from 15% to 25% is really big too. So some big buffs to her. These buffs to the Hersa are really good. The Godi change, I don't think it's gonna do much. If you compare Godi to Pioneer, the Pioneer is just so much better than Godi, even after this change, even if you get Sesrumnir. Hero of Ragnarok, so Ragnarok is slightly better. Also, Raiding Cavalry is better now. Better multiplier versus archers and higher Pierce armor. And Jarl +1 attack on top of the fact that Sons of Sleipnir works on it. It's going to be really fun to play around with. And I do worry that it's a bit busted, but we're going to see. Also, the TA buff. Hello, so many buffs to Norse here. I think Odin is going to be one of the stronger gods this patch. The only issue is that so is Set, so is Isis, and they pretty much counter Odin. So yeah, I think that's the biggest issue with Odin this patch. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys the build order with Odin, and I think you can do some really sick stuff. You're gonna love this. Hopefully, you're gonna love this anyways. So I've just loaded in Elfheim, pretty much a standard map, right? We're gonna queue up a dwarf and send villagers to chicken. Bit peculiar here, sending villagers to chicken, but I'll show you why I do this. There's 4 chicken here. Sometimes you'll have 5, sometimes you'll have 6. But all we need is 4 chicken. So the idea is we want to go on chicken in the archaic age so that we save some hunt and then we can use great hunt in the classical age rather than the archaic age. And that gives us 1,000 extra food instead of 600 extra food. Doing this right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So we're sending 5 villagers to food here. I'm sorry. We're sending the 5 villagers to chicken. And now we're sending a villager over here, over to the hunt. Build an ox cart. And you also auto-queue dwarves from the get-go, by the way. That's 5 over on chicken. We're now slowly starting to set up here. We can use a TC. It is nice to use the villagers on these hunt hatches. You get, I think it's half a favor for killing an elk. But at the same time, doesn't matter too much, does it? So now we have 2 hunt or food operations, I should say. You can just build a house here. Doesn't matter too much where you build the house. We have 2 separate food operations. When this 4th chicken is going to be depleted, we want to shift click over to the forest. And this ensures us that we don't have any idle walking time. If you walk from chicken, from TC to chicken to TC to hunt, that's too much walking time back and forth, and it's too ineffective. So we want to avoid that. The way we do that is by doing this build order here. And now we're saving up for a temple. These elks have 200 food in them, so we're gonna need 3 of these alive by the time we hit classical age. Remember, you can double the value of them when you use Great Hunt. So if there's only 2 of them left, all you can make is 800 food, and we need to make 1,000 at least. Well, 1,000. So we're going to send 7 over here in total. That's 6 for now. We're going to make a 7th, and then we're going to stop producing gatherers and auto queue dwarfs instead. May have to force drop here. But now you see the temple is going up, and we can start mass producing houses as well. Maybe just force drop here. We're going up through. Let's try Heimdall. I do think Freya is probably the god of choice in most cases. Because cavalry is actually quite good now. Really start producing hearses as well. So once again, we want to keep 3 alive here, so that means we may have to send 1 cow over here actually. Do these guys and go on the cow. These 3 elks, it's essential that they stay alive, so that's why we're taking the cow there. Cows are 0.86 versus 1.04, so they're somewhat slower than hunt is, but it's fine. You get such a big advantage when you do this build order. The fact that you barely have any walking time with your units, combined with the fact that you have extra food in your base with Great Hunt, you will have such a big advantage over your opponent. You can grab map control now. Well, not now, once you have your production up and running, of course. Oh my god, I messed up here. So definitely be aware of that your villagers don't go around doing that. But yeah, you can grab map control very, very easily and stop your opponent from getting any hunt when you do this. Because your economy undoubtedly is better than your opponent's at this stage. One more dwarf here. May have to just make gatherers here, and that's perfectly fine. Alright, now we have our production up and running, we can start sending our units. We want to just full send here. Gotta make some gatherers onto the gold mine, unfortunately, when you do this build. But it's absolutely fine. I think 2 or 3 will suffice. And raiding cavalry, throwing axemen. That's the name of the game right now. Show you the power of undermine while we're at it. That's 9 on gold. Let's actually put 1 more, and now we'll start sending over onto berries instead. I haven't seen undermine myself, how good it is, so I'm a bit interested in seeing this. On a building like this, for example, you can use undermine from here to there. take down a tower,
Something.
take down a lot of this HP.
Tilsatt.
See how much range it gets here.
Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Skipan.
It goes from 1200 to 507.
Tilbúin.
Same HP as the temple, by the way, so see how easy it is to take down this building now after the undermine. Take down 2 towers. You almost take down the entirety of this building as well.
Já, já, já. Til orðstuðslag. Skipan.
Get our ox cart there.
Satt. Já,
This is so strong. Your economy is just ridiculous. Once again, I have not moved my food villagers one bit. And I'm controlling the map. There's still plenty of hunt left in my base here.
Já.
And it just means that I am pumping out units much faster than what my opponent is.
Ég vil. Something.
And probably at this stage, you could look to get pickaxe, hand axe as well. We're beginning to have a lot of villagers on the field, and presumably you've got full map control, so you can stop your opponent from being outside of their base. And at this stage, since they don't have Great Hunt, they don't have much more food available in their base, actually. They already depleted their hunt, they will have depleted their chicken, and they'll be left on berries. And remember, berries are now worse in this patch than they were in the last one. And what this means is that you're now going to be increasing your lead over your opponent substantially. You are playing Odin, and you have a 1.04 per second gather rate on hunt. And these guys, by the way, we should put them over onto the aurochs instead. So now all of your gatherers are gathering with a ridiculously high gather rate. And your opponent is left on these berries, which have been nerfed. You've got this really big army. There's no way you're gonna lose a fight with this here. Except if you're versus Egyptian, that's the big downside, like I said. I think Egyptian can definitely compete here. Other civs can maybe compete as well, we're going to see. But theoretically, this should be super strong, what we're doing here. Another thing you can maybe consider doing at this stage of the game is getting Hamask. DQ Hamask here. Maybe make some form of a berserk transition. I imagine that could be good. Get some barracks up forward here. Because our food economy, once again, is just so strong now. Even start making dwarves. Now we just spam berserks basically. These guys over onto berries. We'll get all our gatherers over onto food. And now we send dwarves there. Just spam these berserks. Show you how fast we can do this now. We have our economy up and running. 24 on food, 3 on wood. That's all we need. All we need is houses. Then we got hunters here. We got hunters here. Since we're Odin, this is going to be absolutely massive. Some downtime here, walking from one gold mine to the other, so we're floating resources now, unfortunately. Undermine is actually really worth recasting, by the way. But let's just flood our opponent now. The berserks train really quite fast. 7 seconds, really fast actually. I think I got, since I'm Heimdall, I got the Reek's Tula upgrades to the Hearst. The berserks train even faster. Ah, my opponent's resigned here. But either way, you get the point. This, I think, is a very, very strong Odin opener. And I don't think it's that difficult to execute either. So I highly recommend that you do this, and I'm interested in hearing what you guys think. If you try this out, I want to hear, do you have success with it? Anyways, I'll see you guys later.